Hello everyone, I am Anik Sarkar. I am an MSc student at University of Madras and I am also a project intern under IIIT DM Kanchipuram. Today we are going to discuss how we can solve linear equations of two variables and finding the value of both variables. So what is linear equation? Linear equation is basically nothing but any equation at the form of, so here we can see two linear equations. Here x minus y equals to 2. Here the a for the x is 1, b for the y is minus 1, and c here is minus 2, right? So we can put like this also. So in this case c here is 2. So linear equation, if we graphically plot the linear equation, we get a value, we get a line in graph. So how we can solve these both linear equations simultaneously and find the value of x and y for these both equations? There is four methods: graphical method, substitution method, elimination, and cross multiplication. These three methods are known as algebraic method, and today we are going to discuss these three methods. So let's start with substitution method. So substitution method, as its name suggests, substitution means replacing one term with others, right? So in substitution method, we are taking one of the equations. Here we are taking first equations. So we are writing this equation and make a relation between x and y, right? So now we are able to make a relation between x and y. Now what we are doing, from the rest of the equation, which is the second equation, we are replacing the y or substituting the y with this term which contained x. So now we are now this equation is a linear equation of single variable. So there is only one variable which is x. Now we can easily solve this equation. 3. We can write another step which is x. This become x, and if we bring this one, it become minus 1. So we get x, right? Now we already get x. Now we can substitute the value of x to any of these two equations. Let's choose the first equation, which looks easy. So now, if after substituting the value of x, we get, so y so now we are able to find the value of minus x and as well as minus y from both these linear equations. Now let's talk about another method, which is elimination method. As the name suggests, elimination means eliminate something. Here we are going to eliminate either x variables or y variable. So what is the method of eliminating something? It's very simple, right? Subtracting it. So how we can subtract the variables? First we have to make one variables in the both equations equals. So here we have a y, here we have 2y. So if we choose to make both 2y, how we can do this? Simply by multiplying 2 with the equation 1. So after multiplying 2 with the equation 1, we get minus 4. Now what we have to do, we simply have to subtract both equations so that we can eliminate or cancel out both 2y term. So let's subtract. So first we write So now this equation we called, this new equation, let's call it 3. So let's subtract 3 with 2, right? So let's use normal alphabets, normal numbers. Anyway, so now 2x 2y equals to 4, and right equals to 3. So in the law of subtraction says that because there is a minus, so all the term in this equation, second equation, the sign will be changed, right? For example, if we do x minus y, right? So we can also write this one as x plus minus y, right? So we are doing the same thing here. We are simply add plus sign, but we are replacing all the sign with minus because we are adding a minus here. So by doing this, we are adding minus. This as it says that if something has minus in before, all the sign will change. So now we are also putting, since there is a minus, we are putting it plus, and there is minus. So now see, this is now the new signs are this. They are the new sign. So these two terms cancel out because they have opposite sign. These two terms become minus x, and these two terms become 4 minus 3, which is 1. So we get x equals to 1, and we will
minus 1.
X equals to minus 1. Now as we said, we will do the same, simply replacing the value of x equals to minus 1 to any of two equations. We are choosing the first equation. Let's choose the second equation this time. So 3 minus 1 minus 2y equals to 3. So minus 3 minus 2y equals to 3. So y equals to minus 3. So see, we get same value for the both equations, both methods. Now we are doing another method, which is cross multiplication. This method is little tricky. So in this method, we have to write the both equation in little different form. We have to bring all the values in one side and left one values which is 0 value in other side. So we have to bring all the value in one side, which is, so if I bring this 2 in one side, we get like this. Let's call it Roman 1. And for the second equation, you have to do the same. Minus 3 equals to 0. Now, in order to apply this method, we have to write this and see how we can do the method. So see, when we have to calculate this x term, we have to cover this x term and see this rest of the term, and we have to cross multiply the coefficient that is before y, which is, what is the coefficient before y? Which is minus 1, right? So, and we are also writing this one, what is the coefficient before y? 2y equals to minus 2, right? So we have to multiply this value like this way, simply in this way, in cross fashion, right? So first we have to multiply this direction, which is minus 1 and minus 3. What will be? Plus 3 and minus 2, and we have to add another minus, right? Then we have to add this one, minus 2 and minus 2, which will be plus 4. And for the y equation, we simply have to cover the y. Let's write this minus 4. We simply have to cover the y term and we have to multiply. But this time we have to choose the sign this direction. from the opposite direction. So previously we have choose the sign, choose the multiplication from this to this, but this for the y case only we have to choose the multiplication sign from this way and then to this way. So see, if I multiply from this to this, there is -2 is the coefficient of this value, and there is what is the coefficient of x, which is 3, right? So -2 into 3 is -6. Then the formula says we have to add a minus sign and then continues multiply. Now in this case there is +1 coefficient for x and -3 here. So +1 -3, what will get? -3. Now for the one part we have to cover this constant part and continue the process, and we have to follow the same rule as the first one. Only the y case we have to multiply it from different direction, from this direction, but for x and constant case we have to start multiplying it from this direction, which is left to right. So let's start multiplying it. So it's 2. So just cover it up and start multiplying this direction and this direction, right? So what's the value? X, the value of coefficient of x is 1, and this is the coefficient of this y is -2. So 1 into -2, we have to add a minus for this formula for this method, and then continue multiplying. And this case we have a coefficient of, so we have to cover, as I said, we have to cover this one and start multiplying. So in this case we are multiplying x to this one. The coefficient of x is 1 and coefficient of this y is -2. So we have to multiply 1 into -2, and then as the method said, there is a minus term come, and for the second multiplication we have to continue, which is -1 for the y variable, coefficient of y variable here, and x, the coefficient of x variable is 3. So -1 into 3, which is -3. So now we get a form which is, let's calculate, minus plus 3 minus 4, which is -1, -6 minus plus 3, which is -3, equals to -3 plus -2 minus plus 3, which is +1. Now we have to equate this portion and this portion for the first case. So let's write. So from this equation we can easily get x equals to -1. And for the second case we have to equate y term and this constant term. Which is 1. So y equals to -3. And that's how we get the same value for both methods, for 3 methods, and solving the value of x, which in this case we found -1, and the value of y, in this case, in all the case we found -3. Thank you so much.